I see guys do this all the time where they come here, they put their back to them, but they go like this.
Yep.
And now like the goalie sees the ball the whole time.
Yep.
You know, which is why it, you know, doesn't really go good.
So put your back to the goalie or your back to the guy in the broadcast booth too, because he had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
Some say Long Island has forever been the epicenter of youth and high school lacrosse. It's where kids are given sticks at a young age and soar as they emulate their idols who've come before them. No better example of this is Joey Spelina. The son of a coach, lived in his dad's professional lacrosse locker room.
And New York is going to do it for the first time in a dozen years.
And he took it all in, watching each move Rob Pennell and Paul Rabel made. The foundation of Joey's game is a blend of incredible lacrosse IQ and insane stick skills. His ability to put up video game numbers as a youth culminated with him becoming Long Island's all-time leading scorer in high school with a whopping 501 career points. The nation's top recruit didn't shy from the spotlight. Why not go to the program that stakes claim to the most NCAA titles with 11 and wear a jersey and a number that is synonymous with lacrosse immortality?
When I think of historic rivalries in the sport of lacrosse, I think of Hopkins and Syracuse. Some of the best games the sport has ever seen have been between these two programs.
The NCAA Division I Lacrosse Championship has lived up to its billing. It's everything you can want in a lacrosse game.
A rivalry that defines the sport of lacrosse.
You want to compare it to the Red Sox and the Yankees, the memories that are conjured up when you hear Hopkins against Syracuse.
Kings of the sport. The two winningest programs in the sport of lacrosse.
Paul, you take a look at this matchup, and it just feels like a massive moment in the season, not just because of the rivalry, but these are two teams that came into the year with championship weekend hype.
Yeah, and Jay, for me, I think Johns Hopkins has proven they could play amongst the nation's elite. They have 3 top 20 wins. Syracuse, 0, still searching for an identity, a team with so much preseason hype. They need to deliver at home on a huge stage.
A junior from Mount Sinai, New York, number 22, Joey Spelina.
And we are underway. Twan spins in, shovels it to a goal. Joey Spelina opens the scoring, defense to offense to get it started for the Orange. Continues to dominate at the faceoff X.
He's going to get a penalty right now, too, where the Jays will go extra man.
Chick. Beautiful pass right on the doorstep. Quick stick finish. Roa weaves in and finds the back of the net. Unconventional, but it counts all the same. Luke Roa. Wow, they fooled me.
Are you kidding me? Sam English, the entire time, everybody is looking, including you, including me, and it's an empty netter from Spallina.
Everybody in this Syracuse community knew how important this one was. A 13-10 win.
You felt like Syracuse needed this win heading into the middle of March. There was the pressure. They delivered in a big moment for Gary Gate.
What are your earliest memories of the game of lacrosse?
Probably running around at Lizards practices. You know, my dad was the defensive coach at the time, and it was me and actually Chris Muley in camp. We were at every practice, you know, kind of just being kids and playing, and definitely getting in the way of things, hanging around, you know, probably some of the best guys in the game, and, you know, I think that was just great.
When I used to see you at all the Lizards games as a young kid, I always saw like this big smile on your face, running around with baggy shorts and doing all stick tricks, and you always seemed to love the game. What was it about the sport that like you gravitated towards it?
Yeah, you know, I think it was just like more of just like how fun it is, and you can just be so creative, you know, and just kind of make it like your own game. You know, I like to think I score some cool goals. At least my mom says that I do. I don't think I realized how lucky I actually was, you know, to be around those guys, you know, especially that 2015 team. You look back at that team now, it was Rob, Paul, you know, just a whole bunch of guys, you know, that are at the top of the game right now. I think we used to just say it all the time, you know, like kids would kill for this, and you know, and we're out there like messing with them.
You know, the game of lacrosse has changed, and when you were a kid, like social media started being way more prevalent, and your name was out there. For you, when do you think like you arrived to the sport of lacrosse at a young age?
Thanks to Steven Berger. I think I was like 8 or 9. I did the all-star competition with him. You know, at an 8, 9-year-old, you know, I really have no idea what I just did, but you know, I thought it was the coolest thing.
Top 10, I will begin because I love me some Major League Lacrosse. And how about 8-year-old Joey Spelina weaving a mist behind the net, even mocks the goalie. All over the shop. Well done. And he's only going to get better. He might be playing in one of these.
You know, it's great to sit down with you, and I've always been so impressed with the way that you've developed offensive players, and you know how to coach stars. And Joey Spelina, being your star at attack, brings a lot of different aspects to your offense. For you, what separates him from some of the other players you've coached?
I think the thing with Joey is he adds so much value in so many different areas. You know, almost chameleon-like, where he can do two-man game, he can play off the ball, he can have the ball on his stick, he can make decisions, he can finish plays. So he just does so many things very well.
Watching these clips, you get a sense of his lacrosse IQ, his ability to adapt. Right? It's not programmed. When you play that pick game, you have to be free-flowing. You have to have the instincts to adapt on the fly.
100%, and he can do it in different areas too. So he's not just a big little guy behind the cage. This is a game we played at a high school against North Carolina his freshman year. And you can see his partner in crime here, Finn Thompson, setting the pick for him. And they play off of him.
Yep.
And that was a big goal for us in the fourth quarter in that game.
As the quarterback of your offense, the natural habitat is behind the cage at X. Where is he at his best?
I think is processing information. You hear guys talk about quarterbacks and eye discipline and different things in the NFL, and it's something that Joey does a great job of. You can see it in this clip. The ball's thrown forward. He's immediately looking inside. He sees that he's covered inside, and then he reads the defense collapsing.
So he's using that first cut to open up the second option, which essentially is his first option, but the defense thinks it's his second or third.
Exactly. So he's read, he knows at this point, because that defender's down on Christian Mulet's back there, and 𝐓𝐇𝐄 guy is kind of adjusting across to Christian. He knows that the top center guy's going to be open. So he's going through that read. This is last night, the creativity. Here you see a hidden ball trick, and he gets just about everybody on the field.
He got me for sure. I thought Sam English was taking that shot and scoring based on his celebration too.
He got me on the sideline too, and this is stuff, you know.
He got you?
Yeah, he got me on the sideline too.
I'm not the only one.
It's not this isn't a set play. This is the guys being creative. They'll try this 3, 4, 5 times a game, and if they get the defense, which he does, he gets the goalie. It's the guy that matters.
You know, when you come to Syracuse, there's always those matchups that are a little bit different.
No doubt.
I think Johns Hopkins is one.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, I think it's bigger than us. I think everybody marks it on their calendar. It doesn't matter where we are or where the game is being played, right? Like, people just want to come see Hop versus Cuse.
What were your favorite drills as a kid?
The thing that I would love to do, kind of just incorporates, you know, the mindset of you don't really know what's going to happen in a game. I'm here, right? I'm shooting up the hash. Now I'm getting a cut here, catch, shot.
So it's like a double rep.
Yeah. I always felt like, all right, like I'm in a game here, I'm coming up, shot, save, maybe ball goes out here.
Yep.
Now I'm cutting.
Or a rebound.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you never know when the play's really
Never
dead.
know, yeah.
Shovels it to a goal. Joey Spelina opens opens the scoring, defense to offense to get it started for the Orange.
One thing that I think separates you as a player is how good of an anticipatory passer you are.
Yeah.
You know where the ball's going, where the defense thinks it might be one spot, but you have in your mind it's going somewhere else. Explain that to me.
You know, so I think it's more about just knowing where your guys are going to be, right? You know, so I know the guys in the crease are going to be in there, right? I know that there's going to be guys in the back pipe. The defense is always thinking that I'm going to throw it to the crease.
Those initial cutters, right?
Yeah. So like those first kind of cuts, right? So it's more about getting that pass, right? Looking in the crease, making them think I'm going to throw it there, and then firing it to the back side where I know that, you know, I got some pretty good shooters out there that are going to score.
So for all the attention inside with cut one, cut two, you get the defense thinking that's where you're going with the ball, but your side vision is always where you want it to be.
Yeah. So it's more about, you know, kind of making the defense, you know, kind of look at my eyes.
Gotcha.
Right? So if I'm catching it, now my eyes are here, right? Everybody's going to think it's there. Now I fire it to the backside, goal.
So the eyes get the defense thinking cut one, cut two, but it's your third option where you're really going.
Yes, which in the back of my
it's option one.
Mine, it's option one because I know that that's going to be probably guarded and that'll be open.
Are they back? Everyone says that. Quarterfinal losers a year ago. The next step, championship weekend.
Right on cue, Hiltz delivers on the doorstep. And Syracuse is back in front.
He's so good at identifying where the seams are, whether it's the through passes or if he's the recipient, this time from a beautiful spot feed from Joey Spelina.
So you know you've officially made it in the sport when they have a move named after you. So show me the Spallina.
Skills of number 22 on display once again.
As a natural right-handed player, defenders are going to flush you to your left.
Always, yeah. So, you know, I think the biggest thing here, you know, is kind of making them still think that I'm going to go that way.
Okay.
So, you know, so just to get a good split here, you know, get him to, you know, kind of be on like the middle of me. Now I'm getting up to my spot here, right? And now the defender's not going to want me to get here, right?
They're going to close the gate on your top side.
Yep, they're going to close. So now I'm going to step, plant, and now they're going to bring their stick back in front, which then allows me to snap it. And now the goalie has no idea that it's coming until it's in the goal.
When a defender closes the gate here on your top side, the cue for them to switch to this side is when you change your hands, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I plant, change my hands, now I'm here, and as soon as I feel that stick here, I'm immediately going shot.
Miles was good at it.
Lyle was really good at it, but the guy who I kind of really got it from was John Grant Jr. Like he would just be here, would just be one-handed, and then he'd stop right here, turn, snap, shot, score.
So the inspiration behind this shot was a little bit of the Thompsons, a little bit of John Grant Jr.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You were able to pull off one of the sickest hidden ball tricks I've seen in a long time. When you think of a hidden ball trick, like what's the most important aspect?
Yeah, so I think the most important part of it, putting your back to the goalie and completely blinding him, right? So he has no idea.
So if I'm the goalie here,
yep,
you can't see where that ball is.
What I would do is I would put my back to you, and now you have no idea.
Gotcha.
So it's more about, you know, kind of like hiding it. I see guys do this all the time where they come here, they put their back to him, but they go like this.
Yep.
And now like the goalie sees the ball the whole time.
Yep.
You know, which is why it, you know, doesn't really go good.
So put your back to the goalie or your back to the guy in the broadcast booth too, because he had no clue what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
Wow, they fooled me. Are you kidding me? Sam English, the entire time, everybody is looking, including you, including me, and it's an empty netter from Spallina.
They fooled.
That is sick.
They fooled the 10,000 of the Dome. They fooled you and me. If somebody saw it at home, good for you.
This time, look at the hidden ball trick. Everyone thinks Sam English has it.
Being a star here, what's it like for you to tap into the tradition of this program?
You know, there's always eyes on you. I think I kind of love that. You know, I kind of feed into it. For the number that I wear too, you have to, you know, take care of it. You have to, you know, not live up to it, you know, but you got to kind of write your own story. You know, I think I'm doing that right now. I think our class, you know, has kind of changed this program. You know, I think when people look back at my career, you know, I think they're going to see, you know, kind of bringing this, you know, this program and this team back, you know, from a pretty low point, kind of bringing the energy back to the Dome, you know. And you were obviously on the call for the game. You know, I haven't heard it that loud, you know, since I don't even know.
How important is it for you as a player here, as a leader on the team, as someone who has a spotlight on him, to bring Syracuse a national championship?
Ever since I stepped foot on campus here, you know, I think it's been all about winning a championship. You know, I don't think winning games in March, you know, is what we all came here to do. The lacrosse world's better when CUSE is better. You know, I think I'm able to do that. You know, I think I'm going to do that. I just can't wait to do it. That's my dream, that's my goal.